Wilbergossen asks, if you could start a religion that you knew everyone you didn't particularly care for, which is my polite way of saying everyone you despised, would join, what would its main tenet be? You can go for the moral high ground and make it something that turns them into good people, or just something that punishes them for their idiocy. I thought that was a thought-provoking question. So my religion for the lost and irredeemable is as follows. This is the secret to getting into heaven. Live your life according to the word of Jesus. Be kind, compassionate, socially responsible, and above all, forgiving and non-judgmental towards your fellow human beings. However, at all times remember that there are a limited number of places in heaven for the saved. Not everyone can get there. You have been chosen, so remember that if you want to keep your place, it's absolutely essential that you don't share this information with anyone else. If you tell anybody else this secret, you are lost forever. And with luck, that should sort it out in about 50 years. Palm Trees 101 asks, do you like the show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy? I've got to say that I've never actually watched it, other than catching up on a few seconds of it as I flip channels. But it's not part of a genre of TV that particularly appeals to me. I've got a pretty low opinion of all of these reality TV shows because I see them as anything but real, and just as a lazy, cheap device to fill airtime. I'm not sure whether they're a cause or an effect of this modern cult of celebrity worship, but I see them as linked, and I don't approve. So, although I haven't actually watched it, I doubt that it's something I'd enjoy. Rebel Kane asks, do gay people use the term straight as a synonym for lame, like some straight people sometimes do with the term gay? I've noticed that gay people I know have started to use the term hetty, quite specifically as a disparaging adjective for something that's mundane or mediocre, as opposed to being just lame. So it doesn't mean crappy and worthless or uncool. It just means ordinary, unremarkable, and bland. Ouch. NAUI Diver JOX has a couple of pretty hefty questions. Here's the first one. I have a customer who comes into work that is gay, and recently he called my work specifically to tell me that he thought I was a nice guy, and that if I ever wanted to hang out or just chat, to give him a call. During the conversation, he voiced his concern that I would be creeped out by his request. He doesn't know that I'm straight, and I have not called him back. I feel bad, though, because I don't want him to think that I don't like him, or that his phone call bothered me. Any advice for me? I think there are a multitude of possibilities that may be at play here. The first thing that most people are going to think, me included, is that he might fancy you. And that's because it's unusual for somebody who doesn't know you very well and only knows you in the professional relationship that you have to just call you up out of the blue and say that they think you're a nice person. On the other hand, it's always possible that he's just a bit lonely and felt that you got on well and he'd like you as a friend. Or he might have a female friend that he'd like to fix you up with. But all of this is really just mind-reading and conjecture. So instead of asking me, ask yourself this question instead. Why do you feel bad? Did the phone call bother you? And if so, how? If it didn't bother you, would you like to meet this guy as a friend? And if the answer to that question is yes, then just call him up and arrange to go out for a drink or a movie or whatever. It'd be a good idea to talk about an old or current girlfriend, or even just women that you fancy, so that you give him the message that you're not gay, but that you're okay with him being gay. And if the idea of hanging out with him or having a chat doesn't appeal, then why not just call him up and just thank him for his offer and say, well, you're a bit busy at the moment, or something along those lines. Second question from NAUI Diver JOX is this one. I have a gay friend who recently stopped trying to live the straight life. He has come out to his brother and sisters with mixed responses and is afraid to tell his parents because he believes they will reject him. He is lonely because some of his friends abandoned him when he revealed his sexual orientation, and I don't think he knows how to meet other gay men. The best advice I had was to go out to a gay club. Is there a better option? He currently lives in Philadelphia. Okay, first off, I think that if he's told his brother and sister and there's been a mixed reaction, it's likely that his parents already know by now. Coming out is a very stressful experience, and my advice for anybody is to expect the worst, and then it can only be better. Unfortunately, rejection is a real possibility, but with parents there's something that every gay person has to bear in mind, and that is that they are your parents. And in most cases, even when the initial response is negative, they tend to come around to some form of acceptance given enough time. My advice to somebody who lives in the US and who's having worries about coming out to their parents or being gay is to contact PFLAG or a similar organisation to just have a chat with them. I'll put a link up on the side here for that. They have loads of experience and they can provide a sympathetic and, more importantly, empathic ear. It's sad to hear that some of his friends abandoned him. As I said, coming out is a very stressful experience, and it's one of the times that you really need friends that you can rely on. And it's one of life's tough lessons that some of the people we consider to be our friends aren't really our friends at all. If someone says that they love you and care for you, and then they change their mind when they find out that you're gay, what it means is that they never really loved you in the first place. I know that sounds flip, but it is true, because what they loved was their idea of you, and as soon as you failed to meet their expectations, they're no longer interested. And true love and affection for another human being is never going to be that conditional. I'd say that he should consider finding out about these people as a blessing, because if it wasn't his being gay that led to their true nature being revealed, then something else would have come along sooner or later. And I reckon it's better that he finds out now than later when he really needs them to lean on. I keep saying this, but coming out is tough, even if it goes well. But the thing to bear in mind is that it is a step in the right direction. It does lead to a better, more relaxed life, and it does get easier with time. Most people are not going to drop you just because they find out that you're gay. And actually, to most people, it isn't that much of a surprise anyway. On the question of meeting other gay men, I'd say that if he wants to meet other gay men for sex, or just to pick them up, then a gay club is probably, the way to go. But the loud music and copious quantities of alcohol probably aren't going to be that conducive to meaningful conversation. If he wants to meet other gay men for social reasons, then my suggestion is that he picks a hobby that he likes, like cooking or hiking or bowling or something like that, and contacts a local gay interest group. He should be able to find one of these quite easily, either by Google or again via PFLAG. And that way, he gets to meet a whole load of new people with something in common other than just their sexual orientation.